Howdy. See my hat? It says Gem State of Mind. That's the gem state. That's Idaho. Idaho is the gem state. So if you're a rock hound or outdoors, you're in heaven. I think this is the first video I've done in a couple of weeks of the new year too. Happy New Year. 2024 is going to be off the hook. It's going to be a great year. Been doing some things back at the house with my mom, helping out and family time and just catching up. Little bit of a warning, this video is going to be short, but it's going to be a trigger warning. And anyone who already thought I was a conspiracy theorist, this is going to put the last nail in the coffin. However, if you go back in my videos the last 3 or 4 years, most everything I've talked about is coming true if you do the research. And the timelines I'm never quite sure about, but it's spot on. It's been on me and many other people. And why is that? Do I have a sixth sense? I could be part of it, but I do the research and I step outside the box on everything, and I've talked about that over and over and over ad nauseum. So here's my prediction. The new year of 2024. You ready? Predictions that you're going to see coming out. Again, I'm not sure on the timelines, but I think most of this will happen this year up until after the presidential election. So the next year and a half. Election fraud. We've been talking about it for years, since 2020 and before. Many of us believe we haven't had a free and fair election in decades, from the state level, county level, all the way to the top. That's coming out. There are those naysayers and people who are friends of mine who look at me and say, well, the courts and everybody said, no, 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 you're out of your mind. Well, what if the courts are compromised? And anyway, watch to see election fraud coming out. It's coming out. I've been posting about it, but there has been definite election fraud that are going to the courts that have been people have been charged criminally in smaller parts, like in counties and cities, but it's going to get higher, and you're going to see that. That's going to come out, a big wave of that coming out this year. That I know for sure. 90%. COVID. That's the hill I decided to die on 4 years ago, because I saw the data. We saw the data coming out of Italy before it even hit. None of it added up. I've talked about this many times, but the big revealing of COVID has been happening. However, it's really coming out now. This next year, what's going to happen now, the criminality of that, the people who were behind everything from the vaccines to a lot of misinformation and lies are going to start to be held accountable. We're talking about doctors, local newspaper people, all the way from the local level to the top are going to start to be held accountable. Data is coming out en masse right now on all sorts of levels, and they can't hold it back. Fauci, all of it. Fauci will be held for crimes against humanity, along with a lot of other people. So, another prediction. Pedophilia, child trafficking, human smuggling. This is something I've talked about that's been part of my life, something I've been a cause of mine for a long, long, long time, like much longer, even back to my LA days, because I saw some things there. That's going to come out, and I've talked about this too, how entrenched it is in every level of our society, from the local to the top, pedophilia specifically. It's going to shock many people, from our institutions to, you've seen it already with Boy Scouts of America, the Catholic Church, and a lot of institutions, but it's going to really start coming out. And again, crimes against humanity. The election, Trump will win. Already you can see the mainstream news panicking about it, because there's nothing they can do. People aren't taking the COVID thing seriously, so they can't push another pandemic to try to keep people in and do the voting by mail and all that. As a matter of fact, the vaccine has just dropped off. They're trying to push the next booster. Nobody's taking it. They're on to that. But Trump he just keeps gaining more power, and the MAGA movement keeps gaining more power. And they're trying everything they can to throw against him. This will continue. It'll just make him stronger. Biden is getting weaker. People, even on my friends who were Biden supporters, are copying to the fact that the guy can't even put two sentences together. He's abysmal. And they're also cotton to the fact that he probably is not running the country. Somebody behind him is Obama. We'll see. That's going to start to be revealed. But Trump will be the next president. That will happen. In tandem to that, the Biden crime family, which they've tried to keep down, the mainstream media, they're all part of this. The powers that be are trying to keep a clamp on the news of Burisma, Hunter Biden, Joe Biden. Joe Biden's one of the most corrupt politicians ever. He's been a career politician. You go back, even looking, you just Google it. He was caught for plagiarizing. He was caught for many things over his history. People just, they seem to ignore it. Common sense goes out the window because as long as it's not that orange guy, they're willing to accept this stuff, but no longer. This is all going to come out. The Biden crime family will be indicted. It's all that will be revealed, which is going to lead to Hillary, Obama, etc., etc. Financial reset. There's going to be a financial reset of sorts. We're going into time. People are already seeing, no matter what the news and the powers that be are saying, oh, people are fine. There's no inflation. They're at a better place financially. I mean, I see this every week in the papers, and it's just a laugh because nobody believes it. We're paying more for everything now, from gas to groceries. It's just ridiculous. But this is all part of the government crime. We've been taxed to death as people. A lot of this is going to start to break down. The Fed, if you know anything about the Fed, it's not even a government agency. It's a private bank that's been running interest rates and everything, printing money. All of this is going to start to come apart. Crypto, which I've talked about, a new form of maybe gold standards coming back, but we're going to have some sort of financial reset because we can't keep going the way we're going, printing money and going into trillions of dollars of debt. That's just unsustainable from any business model you look at. So something has to be done, and it will. We as a people are going to be okay, most overall, but there'll be some tough times. There already is some tough times. The Ukraine, the endless wars. Everybody, the people who hate Trump so much don't, this is what I don't understand. They don't look to see his record when he was president. He had us out of all wars. He had gas down. There was a lot of good going on that people seem to just conveniently forget. But we're going to be pulled out of the endless wars because as part of the military-industrial complex, it's just these endless wars create money, makes a lot of people rich, and they want to keep us in wars. Ukraine being one of that. But the Ukraine is even a bigger deal. And the revelations that are coming out of the Ukraine, already the people aren't behind Ukraine anymore. They don't want money sent there anymore. The politicians that are behind all this are panicking. That's going to be revealed. Racism, the DEI thing, all the agendas to keep people apart, divided, like white supremacy and all this is falling apart. They did it to themselves. The Harvard president stepping down showed what's really going on with DEI, that it's reverse racism, it's Marxist agendas, it's brainwashing the youth of the people. That's falling apart on itself too. We're going to see that. People are starting to come together. People from all walks of life, things that I have talked about since day one because I'm out there in the trenches. I've been out traveling, and people from all walks of life, all creeds, all everything. They're understanding that they don't have as many differences as the media and the powers that be like to tell us we have, and they're starting to come together, and that's what it takes. It takes us as a people reclaiming our power and taking it away from the government, taking it away from the people in power who haven't listened to us for years. This is all part of this. UFOs, aliens, you're seeing a lot of now disclosure from everything from the Pentagon to generals to scientists talking about, well, maybe there are aliens, maybe there are craft that we've had, maybe it's coming out slowly, but it's going to be trickle, 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 drip. This is going to affect a lot of things too. I mean, each of these is a long subject I will talk more in detail on, but just the fact that there's acknowledged of aliens, say alien life other than us, can affect, I'm sure, people who are very religious, because the dogma they've been taught is just, it's going to affect a lot of people in different ways. We'll see how that comes out. Conspiracy theorists like me are not conspiracy theorists anymore, at least for a lot of people. I'm getting my calls and emails intake has started triple fold in the last 6 months because people who wrote me off as a crazy, and it's okay, I've talked about this before, as a crazy conspiracy theorist with COVID 4 years ago. I lost a lot of what I thought were friends. I got a lot of hatred. not all of them, but a lot have come around and started to ask me questions. What's going on? Because they're seeing the truth, and this is what it takes. Each individual, whatever it triggers, whatever that person sees or happens in their life to trigger saying, hey, wait a second, this isn't what they told me. I want to know more. That's what it takes. We need to wake up and unite. So there's a little bit of fodder to roll around your brain. All this stuff I talked about is going to be coming out. It has been in trickles, but it's going to come out more and more this coming year. I will talk more in depth about it. I'm going to try to do these videos once or twice a week as sort of an educational video, as I said before. And I repeat often my mantra, I am not here to convince anybody of anything. That's why I don't engage on all my social media platforms. I am here to tell you my truth. If you want to hear it, listen. If not, don't listen. It's that simple. My ego is not such that I need to win an argument. And this is when I'm out with people too. I don't engage. I don't need to win. I don't need to be right. I don't. I'm just here if you are interested in what I have to say. End of story. And it just so happens that people like me, what we've had to say is not so much conspiracy anymore in the truth, because we research and we look at the bigger picture. And I say this all the time. Big picture, stand on the moon and look down, take the 40,000 foot view and look, because our world is changing rapidly. Our country is going to change. Everything's going to be flipped upside down. Everything. Hang in there. Happy New Year, and I'll talk to you all soon.